just tell us where we really should be. And this is where we should be approximately 6 months ago, because that's really 6 to 9 months is the age of the survey data that I'm actually using. It's getting increasingly difficult to get this survey data. When we did these back in 2016, we usually try to do them every 2 to 3 years anyway, just so that we can keep up with where most of our competition really is. But most of the data comes from the Texas Municipal League. And they had a subsidiary called Waters, which they sold. And Waters had very detailed city data. Now Waters is independent after they've been sold, and they no longer get involved with municipalities. TML has now tried to rebuild some of the database, but they don't have the data as detailed as it used to be. So the survey data that I used is cities from 5,000 to 24,000 in population. And I also, we used a survey from the American Water Works Association mostly for the public works. Now on page 2, which is the page I just gave out to you, as I said, there was an arithmetic error, and the ranges are going up actually 9.07%, not 10.9 as your package said. The market percentage, we're currently paying at 90% of the new proposed ranges. So we're actually pretty close to being on target where we really wanted to be. Most of our issues are the same ones that the police department had at the end of last year. It's with our lower level employees. We just didn't pay quite enough. And in the city of Jasper, employment has improved dramatically for the people that live here. And I would say now that based on the difficulties we're having in trying to hire, most of the people in Jasper that really want to work can work. Because I think most of the businesses here are starting to have increasing difficulty in trying to hire. The last page is on this. Well, one of the biggest, the methodology used is standardized, and long-term cost is the cost of raising all staff to proposed midpoint. And that's a standard methodology, and it said that basically, if you were going to move every employee to the proposed midpoints tomorrow, the cost of doing that would be $383,614.40, which is actually the third piece there. That's not something that we're going to do, but we would incur that cost over the life of the plan. Yes.
You said this, which is actually the what? I didn't hear it. I don't think Mitch did either.
The cost of raising all staff to the proposed midpoint. That's a standardized methodology for pricing a compensation plan, and it's considered the long-term cost. And that is,
everybody get paid midpoint?
if we decided tomorrow to bring every employee that we had to our midpoint, which is where the competition is, it would cost a total of $383,614.
Midpoint based on year service?
No, it would just be, in other words, when you price a compensation plan, you have two costs. One, the short-term cost is to bring everybody to the minimum of the salary range. Well, for us, we're already paying at about 90% of these ranges, so we only have, I think, 5 people. It costs us nothing to bring the midpoint. The other methodology is the long-term cost, and that's what I've given you here. Now, you normally would only bring people to midpoint, well, for us, it would be approximately 3 years if we were giving out 3% increases each year, because we're just about 9% below where the market is on these ranges. But that's not, you do not go in tomorrow and bring everybody to midpoint. Hopefully you would get to midpoint if I were in a major corporation and I was in a very, very competitive market. I would decide up front what the life of this plan would be. If it would be 1 year, then I would incur the $383,000 fee. If it were 2 years, it would be half that. If it were 3 years, it would be $130,000. So it's based on the life of the plan. And then you go in and set your salary administration ranges accordingly on how you're going to administer to get to that target on the life of that plan. We don't have that here. Basically, the council sets our salary administration, and that's been done so far through COLAs. So we also do not have a specific life on our plan.
When this was discussed a month or two ago, it was kind of wrapped around the context that we're losing some linemen and people in the electric department that we're spending money on, we're training them, you know, and we're basically losing that money when they go someplace else. We want that to stop. But when you're talking about this across the board, bringing everybody to the proposed amount, which, you know, we're looking at, this is gonna affect our budget, it's gonna affect our tax rate.
No, this affects nothing. This affects absolutely nothing. That is a standardized methodology proposal, is the cost to raise people to midpoint.
This is not there will be no changes made whatsoever to our budget. This is a tool for us to use, so that when we have an incident that comes up that we're going to lose an employee, we'll know what we're looking at. Or when we come back in, it's like he says, when we do an annual 3% raise, then we can say, okay, we know we're gonna be a 30%, but eventually, we're gonna have to keep moving with the times on all of them. But no, this is not, that's what I want you to please understand, that this is not gonna change our budget whatsoever. This is a tool for Joe and I to use, and our department heads to use when hiring new people or maintaining what we've got.
Yeah, no one gets an increase based on these ranges. This is just a picture of where our market is, where these other cities already are by grade level. That's all this is.
Is this just an FYI? Is this?
It's something we need you to approve as a council, so that if in the future, like, I was gonna lose a lineman, and Dan was gonna lose a lineman. He has a tool to work with those guys based on the competitive market out there. Now, granted, we're not competitive with Jasper Newton Electric, that's all they do. We, our city, and we're not competitive with those contractors that's paying them $40 an hour plus a per diem. We can't compete with that, but it will keep us in line to hopefully maintain what we've got and be able to hire somebody, qualified people, and get them at the ranges. I don't wanna hire somebody below market value, and that's what we've been doing in the past.
What are we voting on?
You're voting on us to approve this new salary range, that's it.
The new salary range. And if you look at the detailed spreadsheets, the big ones at the end, if you were interested, it will give you the level of a position. As an example, the first one is a level 2 helper. It gives you the current annual salary range on the left-hand side of the page. We're paying an average for the number, we have one person in that at $13.52. The average for the market was $13.55. Then there's the proposed salary range, where the midpoint comes up to $14.80, because I use a curvilinear regression line in order to compute these midpoints. And then it tells you that we're currently paying 95.9% for this helper of what we've defined as the market, and that our proposed range is about 109%. And I've done that for every grade level, so you could see exactly what the market was, and that's the number of people in our job categories by grade, and what the market is.
When it comes to numbers like this, it's just sort of goes over my bald head. Do I understand what you're saying is that the city of Jasper right now is at about 90% of the mid-range?
Yes, we're paying already 90% of the proposed midpoints that we've proposed.
And what this is asking the council to do is to give this salary range so that if it takes a little bit more to get a good qualified applicant, you've got that authority.
Yes, sir, that's exactly what it's doing.
She can hire within the range,
Yes.
yes.
Did you get that?
Yes.
Can we put that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and second. What I think I said.
We got it on tape.
Thank y'all.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Joe, it's a lot of work for you.
Let's take a vote vote on this, and all in favor signify by the use of the sign voting. Motion carries, it's unanimous. All right, that considers, that is our action items for tonight. I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank everyone on council for their comments and considerations, and we'll see where we go from here. Thank you. Stand adjourned.
Thank you.